Resource Teaching and Negotiation Through Play, starring Chardonnay, the coy way dog. Dogs playing with toys can be just playing, but it can also be in the form of teaching how to share resources and also negotiation of resources and seeing who can take resources from the other dog. In this video, I'll show you some examples of each of these. Here's an example of my dog Chardonnay kind of playing with Hawkeye to teach him a few lessons about guarding resources from another dog in the yard. Hawkeye always liked to guard his toys from other dogs. Chardonnay was the only one I would let do this, but notice she just laid on top of his toy, and then she's going to present some very coy behavior to try and get him to lighten up a little bit. Notice she could take the fish from Hawkeye, but instead they're doing this soft mouse play. But this isn't really play with no motive. Chardonnay is definitely teaching Hawkeye not to guard toys from other dogs. And here she rolls over, shows him her belly in a way to say, I'm being submissive, I'm not a threat to you, but you need to chill out about this toy. Sneezing can be a way to convey that you're not a threat and you're playing in dog language. So here they both get up, Chardonnay shakes it off, and then Hawkeye does a little play bow, and then Hawkeye rolls over. So Hawkeye's learning he doesn't have to guard his toy. Here's some nice play between dogs that really are not competing for resources. You can see they both have loose and soft bodies. Neither one of them is using their entire strength to try and get this toy away from the other. They're just having a good time playing. Chardonnay could easily take this toy from this puppy, but she doesn't. She just plays nice and gently with him. Here's another example of a dog that has problems sharing toys. When the Doodle came to my house, she would definitely guard her toys and not want to share with the other dogs. She really didn't understand how to play with other dogs with toys. So you can see here Chardonnay keeps trying to get it, and the Doodle keeps walking further away to keep Chardonnay from grabbing the toy. So Chardonnay will only do this behavior with dogs that have some challenges sharing toys with other dogs. You can see Chardonnay is keeping pressure on her with her body in the distance. Here she finally relaxes and lays down, and Chardonnay goes over and lays down right next to her in a very coy way again. And the Doodle moves further away. I often wonder if Chardonnay knew she was laying on the leash so she couldn't move further away than this. I'm not sure. Here you can see Chardonnay is going to guard the toys from the Doodle. So she goes in and keeps her away from the toy, but then immediately does a play bow. Here she's going to keep her away from the other toy here on the ground. So a lot of people might see this just as play because Chardonnay is doing a play bow, but she's teaching the Doodle a lesson by keeping her away from the toys. She's telling her that they're not hers. This is a few days later, and the Doodle has learned how to share her sticks and toys a little bit better. You can see here Char is waiting patiently, asking if she can have the stick. Right here, the Doodle moves her muzzle towards Chardonnay a little bit to say, hey, back off. And then Chardonnay does this rollover submissive gesture. Again, showing the Doodle there's nothing to worry about. I'm no threat to you. Here, Chardonnay decided to try a different tactic and stand up a little bit over the Doodle and see if she'll share her toy. I want to make it clear I would not normally allow two dogs to do this if you don't know your dog really well. Chardonnay's helped me with this kind of stuff for a long time, and I trust her to be appropriate. And I also understood that the Doodle needed to learn how to share toys with other dogs, and that's why Chardonnay is doing this. Chardonnay does not do this with most dogs. So here Chardonnay is going to just gently kind of take the toy or the stick and then allow the Doodle to share it with her a little bit. So they're doing a trading back and forth. And I think this is important to remember when you're dealing with most dogs who guard things. Mostly it's out of defense. They're afraid you're going to take it from them. And Chardonnay lets her take the toy again. Here's a very cute example of a puppy that all my dogs loved. And it's quite unusual for Chardonnay to share toys like this with a puppy. But you can see here they're just playing with the toys. Chardonnay is in a very submissive position. The puppy's doing little puppy pawing at her. And the puppy's trying to get the keys that Chardonnay has. Now you can see here from, if you have watched my other videos, that Chardonnay isn't really serious about keeping the puppy away from these toys. If Chardonnay was serious about it, she would just tell the puppy to go away. But here they're just kind of pretend competing over these toys. And then she actually grabs the keys and takes it closer to the puppy. And here she allowed the puppy to grab the keys a little bit. So this is telling me that this puppy was actually special, because it's very rare my dogs would allow a puppy to take a toy from them if they didn't want to share it. And they had no problem sharing toys and things with this puppy. And here you can see the puppy gave up the keys and gave them back to Chardonnay. So they're doing this trading back and forth. Again, this is teaching the puppy that, you know, she can give up her toys and she'll get them back. It's not a big deal. And notice too, their bodies are all relaxed. No one's getting stiff and actually guarding anything. And here the puppy got the other toy that Chardonnay was laying on. Alright, so Chardonnay has the ball. Somebody asked me, well, would I take the ball away from Chardonnay and give it to another dog or vice versa? And my answer is no, because Chardonnay got the ball fair and square. And if Annie keeps hovering over her, I'm going to tell Annie to go away. So it would depend on the dogs that I'm dealing with, how much of this I would allow. Between these two females, not a lot. Between Wafer, the little Chihuahua there, and Skippy, this one, they would work it out on their own because Wafer knows he's way below Skippy and there's no competition for who's higher in the pack order. Between these two, Annie and Chardonnay, the white pit, there is some competition. So I need to stay on top of it and not allow any bullying or jerky type of behavior. So Annie's laid down now, which is fine with me, and she's just waiting for Chardonnay to get up so she can get that ball. Wafer grabbed the ball Annie had. I think Wafer wants to chew on the stick right there. Now Wafer is gonna do a little sucking up to Annie. This is why my house isn't clean, because I watch this stuff all the time. And now Skippy just took Annie's ball, which was fair game because Annie had dropped it. So Wafer is over there pretending like he's really interested in stuff, but I think he really wants that football Chardonnay has. So this is interesting. So Wafer has Chardonnay's favorite toy. Oh, Skippy's gonna go get it. And Chardonnay was hanging out with her toy and she got up to come over here and Wafer took it. Now, it was fair game because she got up and left her toy. So there's no reason Wafer can't have it. This should be interesting to see how she gets it back. While that's going on, there's other stuff going on over here. And probably no one will try and take it from Skippy. We'll see. Here's another peaceful negotiation, which actually surprised me. Annie usually won't share her sticks or toys. And Chardonnay was brand new to my house. So this told me that Annie didn't see Chardonnay as much of a threat. Annie actually welcomed her into the pack. But watch this negotiation skill on Chardonnay's part. And she doesn't move away. She stays by Annie and chews on it.
Let her have your stick.
So she's not actually like, I got it, and runs away. This is more of a pro-social type of sharing of resources rather than taking away from others.